Good evening, everybody. Am I audible? Okay. Is screen visible? Okay. Today we will be covering the previous year trends of the governance or the governance questions, and the idea is we will be analyzing the past 5 years, 5-6 years, and we will be analyzing why that question is asking in UPSC and what are the major important topics that was being asked in UPSC mains. Okay, this is the idea of today's session. Similar to the previous session on MainsDhyan, previous session on Indian polity, we will be having the similar session on governance. Considering governance in GS2 paper, governance does not have the equal importance of Indian polity, but about 25% of total question is directly coming from governance. You should also learn the very basics of governance topics, and you should also identify the current affairs related to governance. It is very critical for your examination. Regarding Indian polity, there will be around 8 to 9 questions, but in the case of governance, we will be having around 5 to 6 questions, and the idea in the basic idea that will be in governance, or the basic idea that should be followed by you in preparing governance, is prepare for the basics. Okay, you should be understanding several basic ideas such as citizen charter, RTI, amendments in the RTI Acts, and then right to public service or right to service act is there. Then there is e-government, e-governance, m-governance, etc. is there. All these basic principles should be known to you. Okay, that should be your primary idea in governance. Okay, we will be starting now. We will be starting the analysis session, where we will be identifying the trends and patterns of governance session. Okay. The idea of this class is we will be focusing on a general analysis similar to what we have done in Indian polity. We will be analyzing why governance is important for your examination. What is the importance? What is the importance of governance in your GS2 paper for the first time? And then we will be analyzing the trends and patterns in governance session. Then approach, how governance can be tackled, or what are the important stress points that should be followed. And the fourth and the final one is the most probable topics in governance. This will be our idea. That is, we will be having a general analysis on entire GS2, and then we will be analyzing the trends of governance. Then we will be focusing on the approach, and last one is the probable topics of governance. This will be our idea. Considering Indian polity, this session will be around 1 hour. I will be trying to complete it by 1 hour, because considering the length of Indian polity, we will not be having much questions to discuss, much ideas to discuss in Indian governance, because the primary areas or the continuous topics being asked in Indian polity, continuously asking in 4 or 5 important sessions, we will be analyzing that only. Okay. Then the general analysis. Here we will be in previous session, that is on Indian polity, we have identified that The Indian polity plays a major role in GS2, that is 40% of question or around 8 questions is directly asked from Indian polity. But in the case of governance, you will be having a 25% or maximum of 5 questions from Indian polity. There will be a shift in number of questions because of the role of social justice. There will sometimes social justice will be having more questions than governance. Sometimes governance will be having more questions. The remaining topics, that is social justice and international relations, will be taken up in upcoming weeks when we will be having tests. Okay, just understand that after Indian polity, governance plays a major role. So you need to understand, whenever you prepare for governance, just focus on the very basic ideas that is required in governance. Do not overdo governance. Similar to Indian polity, the most of the questions asked in governance also focuses on governance itself, or the basic ideas of governance itself. You can directly write your answers with the basic ideas itself. Okay. Okay, we will be moving to the trend analysis of Indian governance. That is, the first thing is we will be analyzing the themes of governance, or what are the major themes that is being asked in governance section. Then we will be discussing the sources, the major sources of Indian polity, how you can prepare, or what are the sources you should be following. And the last one is the approach for preparing 2020, and while writing your answer, what approach you should be taking. These will be the ideas of this session. And the major themes of governance is, the most important one is participatory governance. Every year there will be certain question on participatory governance. Participatory governance includes NGOs, civil society organizations, then pressure group is there. All these comes under participatory governance, where maximum participation of people is ensured, or people's participation, or what is the role of people in ensuring governance. That will be the key idea of participatory governance. Civil services is also a often asked question, or often asked topic in governance, where you will be having direct questions from civil services. For example, in last year or year before that, they have asked a topic similar to political science or public administration. They have asked that the traditional bureaucratic concept has been affecting the governance in India. Similar questions which we can see in public administration or political science. So in this session, you need to have certain ideas. What is bureaucracy? What is traditional setup? How the civil services or the structure of civil services is affecting the governance procedure. The question will be simple, but you need to have a basic idea. Then another important topic is digital governance, where you will be asking questions regarding mobile governance, electronic governance, and how the electronic transfer is affecting the governance in India, DBT. All these ideas will be asked in digital governance, or what are the tools that is available for digital governance in India. That is the primary idea of digital governance. And another important topic is accountability and control, or accountability and transparency, where you will be asked regarding RTI, citizen charter, right to public service, etc. in this session. I think 2 or 3 years, in the last 5 years, there was questions that is mostly regarding citizen charter. There can be a question on right to public service, and there can be a question on right to information act, and Lokpal Lokayukta. Even though it is related to Indian polity, it can be asked in governance as well. Okay, the role of ombudsman, etc. in accountability and transparency. We will be discussing all these in later slides. And the last but not the least, it is corporate governance. 2 years. In 2 years, in past 6 years, there is a question on corporate governance, how FDI is affecting Indian governance or system and the Indian media system. And then there is a question on Satyam scandal and related to that. just understand the very basics in corporate governance. You need to focus on CSR and the related activities, etc., and how corporate governance can be improved. All these ideas should be focused on corporate governance. Among these, this will be your least preferred topic, but UPSC has it for 2 years in the last 6 years. So just go through what is CSR, what are the provisions of CSR, or how Companies Act is protecting corporate governance, what is the Bank Boards Bureau. Similar ideas can be used in governance. What are the ideas that should be inculcated in the government and governance session, so that there will be a better corporate governance. The question will be very simple and easy to answer. Just focus on these things. Okay, in governance you just need to focus on these 5 principles and 5 themes. You need not go beyond that. Every questions asked in Indian polity, sorry, GS2 regarding governance comes under. Yes, media plays a major role in, of course, media plays a major role in ensuring accountability and transparency. So try to identify the issue of TRP, why media is going beyond these kind of newses. Okay, and TRP. You should be learning that. We will be identifying certain important topics in governance session, and we will be discussing a certain one, and you will be having add-on sessions for governance in later stage when almost every issues can be identified. We have identified 4 or 5 topics today, and we will be giving certain ideas regarding the same, and we will be having a session on content upgradation in on Friday, tomorrow or Friday, any days we will be having that also. Okay, just we will be starting themes in Indian governance. The first one is participatory governance. On an average, there will be 1 question, maximum of 1 question from participatory governance in each year. In every year, there will be 1 question, be it pressure group, be it NGOs, be it the role of CSOs, be it the participation of people itself, be it the role of working of NGOs. Everything can be asked. The idea is the primary focus point of participatory governance is SHGs and CSOs, along with pressure groups is there. All these basic association within society, you can see where SHGs is there, CSOs is there, pressure groups is there. All these will be directly asked. Or there may be a broader question where how participation of people ensures better service delivery and governance. So you just need to focus on these aspects. The first one is whenever you learn SHGs, CSOs, you need to focus on examples. You need to get examples, the role played by SHGs. For every governance question or whenever you write an answer in governance and participatory governance, for all the questions in governance, you need to focus on examples. You need to have certain set of examples. For example, in the case of SHG, you can give Kudumbasri. Kudumbasri is there. Then Andhra Pradesh has a better role in the SHG or better models in the SHG. All these should be mentioned. Without your examples, you cannot write governance. Okay. Most of the question directly ask for give examples for these or illustrate. The question will be primarily focusing on, or question directive will be primarily illustrate. So it is your duty to get certain examples for governance, each and every sections of governance. Whenever you learn SHGs and CSO, get some best practices in the country. You will get best practices. If you search in india.gov.in, you will get, and we will be giving you certain ideas and examples in governance. Okay, you need not worry about this. And we have a better note in Civils360 website. Just search for governance notes for UPSC. You will get that. We have tried to add an elaborate detailed description on governance and how it works. Almost every basic ideas have been incorporated into that blog. Kindly go through that also if you are not comfortable with the basics of governance. Okay, the first thing is you need to have examples. The second thing is you need to identify the provisions or working working provisions or policies. What policies government adopted, or what are the policies suggested by governments in protecting the role of SHGs, NGOs, CSOs, etc. For this, you need to read the governance chapters of India at 75 strategy document by Niti Aayog. You definitely go through these books, these government documents. It is very important. That is all the questions, almost every question asked in participatory governance requires certain policies of government. You need to have certain policies of government. For that, you need to read India at 75 strategy document by Niti Aayog. It was released in 2018 or 19, I think the end of 18. Just download it. It is around 250 pages. If possible, write certain notes on that and try to revise that. It will be very useful for you. Do read that, because it is the basic idea that is going to be implemented by the government for next 5 years. Okay, it is equivalent. It was equivalent to, or considered equivalent to, the planning commission document or 5-year plan document that was released by planning commission, which will be implementing in next 5 years. Similar to that, this is a 3-year action plan. I think for next 3 years, government will be planning to do all these, or government's idea will be focused on that. So read those chapters. It is very important. I'll be sharing that document with you. I'll be sharing the important chapters of Niti Aayog related to governance. Just go through that. Whenever you read a topic, example, whenever you read economics, connect it with these topics also, or these documents also. Then you'll be getting better ideas. Okay. Then you need to focus on NGOs. In NGOs, you need to add ideas like FCRA. They're working. Then there is an IB report suggesting that certain international NGOs are playing or acting against the interest of India's development. All these should be noted. That is the role played by NGOs. There can be a question in internal security as well regarding NGOs and their role in money laundering, etc. So it is your duty to connect all these. But the participatory governance in Indian polity, or GS2 paper, basically asks for the working of NGOs. So you need to have. And the third is give a broad viewpoint where people's participation. What is the essentiality of people's participation in ensuring better governance or better service delivery? How people's participation can be ensured. The basic ideas regarding these participation should also be brought up. That is how participation can be ensured. What are the challenges in ensuring participation, or what is the issue in ensuring participation in India? How pressure groups can be made into a democratic type of organization. All these should be wrote in your answer. For that, you need to have certain strategies where most of the candidates writing mains examination have the same issue in governance. Nobody knows where to learn governance or what are the issues to be covered. Everybody will be focusing on international relations. Everybody will be focusing on all the schemes related to social justice, and everybody will be focusing on Indian polity. Everybody will be having content on all these chapters, but nobody will be focusing on governance. But in reality, 25%, that is around 5 questions, are directly from governance each year. That means you need to have certain content in that. You just focus on the basic contents where you can ask that there is B2B, business to business relation, there is business to government relation, there is government to customer relations. All these basic concepts should be known to you. Okay, just go through that. Go through our blog page. Almost every basic data are given in there. You just go through that. And the idea is build the basic, then work on all these focus regions. That is SSGs is there, NGOs is there. Get your ideas and examples. These are the participatory governance. This is the primary focus regions. And the governance, the previous year questions regarding the same, I have chosen identified two different questions from each section. That is, in regarding NGO, there is a question on examining critically the recent changes in the rules governing FCRA 1976. Direct question. There is nothing else. What are the issues? What are the benefits? What are the ideas regarding? What are the changes in FCRA? Direct question. If you learn the basics of participatory governance regarding SFGs, NGOs, pressure groups, etc., you can definitely score better marks. Standardize your answers. You just need to standardize your. Yes. I'll be discussing the approach in the later slide. I will be completing all these themes and I will let you know the source. Okay. For each session, I will be discussing the source. What should be followed? Okay. This is the question from FCRA regarding NGO. Direct question. You just focus on current affairs. Okay. This is another system in Indian governance system. The role of non-state actors has been only marginal. Critically examine this statement. How participatory governance can be ensured? How participatory governance should be improved? What are the challenges in improving role of non-state actors? Non-state actors means everything except states, including NGOs, CSOs, SNGs, etc. How India can ensure the participation of non-state actors. From participatory governance, there will be mostly it will be a broad-based question similar to this. And if there is a specific question, it will be primarily based on NGOs, SNGs, or pressure groups. Okay, so read about NGOs, SNGs, and pressure groups. For example, there is a national policy on voluntary organization, NPVO. So in 2006 or 7, I think. I don't know the actual year. That is National Policy on Voluntary Organization. It has provided certain ideas regarding how NGOs should be or non-state actors should be getting a chance in Indian governance machinery. So you need to add National Policy on Voluntary Organization. Read the basics. What is National Policy on Voluntary Organization? Government has initiated different measures to ensure the working of NGOs, SNGs, etc. Get the plans. For example, in Delhi, there is a policy on neighborhood watch policy. Neighborhood watch policy to ensure law and order. That is, if a house is closed or house has been locked for a long time, or the members of that household is out for some reason, then it is the duty of neighbor to look after that house also to avoid theft, attack, etc. That is neighborhood watch policy. Get the examples. We will be giving all these examples in a PDF and in our content upgradation sessions. Just follow that, and you should also be learning these examples. It is very important for your examination. Okay. I'm not discussing how to answer this. We'll be discussing some of these questions in our mains in practice session and how to answer. On that session, in that session, I will be giving a standard viewpoint for how to answer governance question. Okay, what can be done? Okay, just we'll be discussing these questions in that session. And materials to be focused. Whenever you need the ideas regarding participatory governance, the first your go-to location will be LiveMint and Indian Express for governance. Whenever there is an issue of governance, you need articles from LiveMint and Indian Express. Now, best examples and best case studies and best analysis will be provided by these newspapers, especially Live Mint. Their governance session is wonderful. Indian Express is also wonderful. Instead of focusing on the Hindu regarding governance, all sessions of Hindu is good, but regarding governance, it will be better to focus on Live Mint and Indian article. There will be very minimum number of editorials in these sections in Live Mint or Indian Express. Just go through that. Okay, just identify. For example, recently there was an issue of FCRA regarding NGOs. Just search FCRA NGO issue in Indian Express. For example, there is an Indian Express explained session. You need to read all the articles regarding Indian polity, international relations, governance, economy from Indian Express explained, where you will be getting all the details and all the facts and all the figures regarding any topic. Okay, that is for governance. Your first go-to position will be, or go-to source will be, the articles of Live Mint and Indian Express. Read that once, you will thank me later. That is better than, it will be very better than, very much better than the Hindu. Okay, at least read 1 or 2 articles for each and every section. Okay, just search NGOs Live Mint or FCRA NGOs issues Live Mint. Just Google search. Read that article. I will be sharing certain articles that I have saved. You can also, I will be sharing with you. Read that also. Do not. The issue is most of the people will be trying to learn governance by the end of December or before one week before your examination. It will be hard. Better read the articles and get some points. For example, in NGOs, you can identify the role. What are the roles played by NGOs? How NGOs can play a major role in Indian polity or Indian governance system? You can say that you can divide it into multiple sections. For example, in policy making, ACER report by Pradham NGO, policy implementation or implementing a policy. Andhra Pradesh MDM scheme is implemented by Akshaya Patra. Policy evaluation, Greenpeace International. All these can be identified. Okay, read these articles and get examples. Okay, whenever you learn your prelims, you may have came across with various ideas. For example, there is a portal regarding registration of NGOs. Darpan portal is there. You have learned about Darpan in for your prelims. Try to reproduce it in your mains answer. What are the steps taken by government to control NGOs, or what are the steps taken by government to ensure development of NGOs? Give this example where government has initiated a single window approach and the Darpan portal where NGOs can register. That is fine for your answer. Give examples. Whenever you write an answer in governance, give examples. Examples are very important for governance. Okay. Next, the second important topic or source you need to follow is government websites and government policies. Okay. I'll be giving certain suggestions. Read that also. Especially, you should go through India at 75. India at 75 strategy document. You should definitely go through that. If you it will be better to have certain diagrams. For example, there is Sevotham model in governance. I'm just giving you a suggestion. If you have came across certain ideas in governance like Sevotham model, just search the Google, do the Google search and go through Google images and get the diagram of Sevotham. Government documents suggest certain diagrams. For example, there is a diagram similar to this 3-pillar or 4-pillar approach of Sevotham model. Okay, try to identify and remember, understand and remember that diagram. Try to reproduce it in your answer. That should be your idea. Okay, try to learn all these ideas in your from your basic text. There is no need for a separate text for governance. Rather, these articles and government documents will suffice. That is the primary idea. These articles and documents will suffice your governance preparation. Okay. The next one is, I think I have given you an enough introduction to participatory governance, and here your takeaways, the basic takeaways for your from your participatory governance is focus on newspaper. That is current affairs based question will be there. You need to have current affairs based evaluation. You should be knowing the changes happening around participatory governance. If government has initiated a session, for example, in the EIA notification, this is one of the best examples in recent past where maximum number of people has participated to filter out the issues or to identify or notify the governments regarding issues of Environmental Impact Assessment Act. Okay, mention that where if question is the previous question that why people's participation is not visible in India, you can give that yes, there is certain there is an issue in an optimum level, or there is not optimal level of participation in governance, but the recent events like EIA, we have seen enough participation. The government needs to nurture the same. Okay, that is the idea. You need to have current affairs, then get the examples. Examples is the most important thing in all the answers of your governance. Focus on examples. Get a list of examples for each and every topic. And always the question will be focusing on analysis. There will be no questions on or direct questions on give the provisions. Rather, the question will be critically analyze the provisions or change amendments in Right to Information Act or Citizen Charter or Right to Public Service in certain states. This will be your definitely this will be your question. Do not worry about learning all the provisions. Rather, you should also focus on analysis. Okay. Then we will be moving to the second. If you have any doubts, let me know. I'll be clearing that. Okay. Current affairs from October to December. Regarding governance, the question will not be primarily based on current affairs. It will be based on the basics plus current affairs. So it will be better to read all the current affairs from current affairs October to December, and I will be giving certain important topics and articles. Please read that also. Okay. I cannot say that all the questions from your governance session in mains will be coming from October to December session. That is not correct. I will be giving certain important important topics that must be covered, and you should also focus on October to December. There is chances that October to December will be focused. Okay. That is second one, civil services. This session, the questions being asked in this question will be very basic, like how civil service is delaying the development or similar lines. So here you need to focus on two things. Structure. The question will be asking, or the question will be based on a mix of structure and issues, or structural issues and functional issues of civil services. For example, the Indian civil services is based on a hierarchy model. If I may say, with regard to the nuances from public administration, I will be saying it's a Weberian concept of traditional bureaucrats or bureaucracy, where everything will be purely centralized. All the civil servants or all the machineries of governance in India have a hierarchical structure. All these results in certain failures and issues in providing services. So you should be following, understanding the basic structure. Once there was a question on cadre based civil services. You should understand what is cadre based civil services. There can be a question on definitely there is a chance that there will be a question on lateral entry. How it ensures better service delivery, or how it can create an issue within civil services. There can be a question. That is, the question will be primarily based on the structure of civil services or the issues in civil services like corruption, delay, red tapeism, and all those issues. And even there can be a question on grievance redressal mechanism, how an issue within the civil services can be resolved. So just focus on their structure or how Indian civil services works. I'll be giving certain notes for civil services also. Do not worry. I have certain notes in public administration. I will be sharing that with you. You just eliminate the theoretical parts. The remaining will be your answer. Okay. Do not worry about civil services. It's a very basic point. What is the major features of Indian policies? Like what is cadre-based system? What is lateral entry? Or what is the performance evaluation in Indian civil services? All these will be given. Do not worry about that. And next one is issues. The issues will be, you should be focusing on issues. What are the major issues in Indian governance machinery or Indian government or Indian bureaucracy? These issues should be identified by. Okay, these are the two focus points of civil services. Okay, next one is, these are the questions. Okay, that is, civil services in India were designed to achieve the goals of neutrality and effectiveness, which seems to be lacking in present context. Do you agree with the view that drastic reforms are required in civil services? For that also, there is a chapter on civil services in India at 75. I'll be sharing all the relevant topics in India at 75 today itself. Kindly download the chapters, and I'll be mentioning the important topics regarding Indian polity and governance today itself. Read that topics before you answer your first test. The points in that document should be there in your answer. You should be focusing on that also. And second question, I'm not giving an answer. We will be working out these questions in tomorrow's session. Don't worry about that. Your answer should be, the question directly focus on, do you agree with the view that whether Indian civil service requires a drastic change, or what can be done to improve the efficiency of bureaucracy? That is the idea of this question. And second question is, traditional bureaucratic structure and culture have hampered the process of socio-economic development. That is, what is the structure? I have already discussed that structure should be identified. For example, Indian governance machinery or Indian bureaucratic structure is highly centralized pyramidal model. So what is the issue? They will be working as a organization with hierarchy. That means delay in working. Okay, all these issues should be mentioned here. We will be giving certain ideas regarding the same also. And in this question, you should also learn certain ideas from newspaper. Okay, here you can also follow the Hindu. Hindu is also good for criticizing and identifying the issues of civil services. The Hindu. You can also follow Hindu, but better read Lineman and Indian Express. I will be suggesting Lineman and Indian Express of governance. And you should be basic. If you can read the governance, Lakshmian's governance is there, Indian governance by Lakshmian. If you want an idea, if you want a specific book, I will be suggesting the governance by Lakshmian, but no need of that. If you definitely want a textbook, this will be your source, that is Lakshmian's Indian Governance by Lakshmian, Governance in India. I think Governance in India is its name. Just read that. Okay, if you want a book, that is my suggestion. Better, I will be giving certain notes on civil services. I will be giving the issues of structure. What is the major structural features of Indian bureaucracy? All that will be given to you. Better, you need not read the Lakshmian. Okay, it's a bulky book. If you have started, it will take almost 2 weeks to complete it. Okay, so no need to read. I will be giving notes regarding civil services. Okay. Then here also you just focus on 3 things. Like previous one, you need to get the idea of newspaper. Then example is very essential for you, and all the questions will be focusing on analysis. Just focus on these 3 things. You need to read newspaper. You need to have the examples in handy. If you have certain specific examples, for example, the solid waste management of Alappuzha is one of the best examples you can go. Then there is Nadia of West Bengal model in open defecation, elimination of open defecation is there. All these can be mentioned. For example, in accountability, you can say that Mastur Kisan Shakti Sangadam. This can be mentioned. So get certain examples. Examples is very important. You need to identify examples. I will be giving examples in a later stage. I will not be giving it today or tomorrow. If I am starting to give you all the content, you will not be reading the newspaper. Without reading newspaper, without reading the editorials and articles, you cannot write a governance answer. Okay, you should be following that also. I will also be helping you with the examples and diagrams that can be followed. Okay, it will be a help. Okay. Then digital governance. The third one is digital governance. This is one of the most important part in governance. That is, all the year there will be question on e-government or e-governance or m-governance. How the efficiency of government or governance can be improved through digital means. This is the primary concern of digital governance. Okay, just understand the basics. That is, in here, 2 different sections will be asked. That is, e-governance and m-governance. For that, the roles, challenges, success stories, how it can be ensured to masses. These 4 aspects will be asked. That is, roles and uses or benefits, then challenges, then success stories, then how it can be ensured to all the citizens of India. That is the primary concern of primary point of focus in e-governance and m-governance. Okay. The next one is digitization of government. Digitization of government. Here the question will be asking certain programs or digital India, or what are the issues in digitization. For example, there can be a question on digital divide. There can be a question on issues of universal service obligation fund. There can be a question on national electronic government or e-government policies, NEGP. Okay, for that you just need the suggestions of national e-governance policy. Just search for that, get the ideas, and or just search for national e-governance policy, and you will be getting certain sites and read what are the ideas that need to be in your answer. Okay, get the basic definitions. You should also learn what do you mean by e-governance and governance, etc. There can be a direct question on that also. And digitization, you need to have all the government programs and schemes. Like Digital India is there, NEGP is there, USOF is there, BharatNet is there. All these should be, example should be given. And you need to understand the usage of digitization or technology or ICT technologies information and communication technologies in schemes or government policies or government service delivery. For example, there is Garwa for rural electrification. There is Garwa is there. 1 minute. Yes, definitely. You can check, no problem with that. No need to worry. If you have any issue, we'll be sharing the same session in your app and driver as well. If you are missing any classes, please let us know. We'll be sharing the recorded classes. Okay. Moving on. That is focus points of digital governance. That is E&M governance along with digitization of government. The next one is the questions. First question itself, the implementation of information and communication technology based projects programs usually suffers in terms of certain vital factors. Identify these factors and suggest measures for their effective implementation. For example, digital divide is there. Basically put digital divide is there. Then accessibility issues is there. Only 56% of total population has access to internet. All these can be mentioned whenever you write your answer. That is, you need to have certain facts in writing this answer. For example, how much or how many individuals, or what is the percentage of individuals having internet connection? What is the issue is there? What is the issue of digital literacy? How it can be improved? You can mention examples like Akshaya Kendras, or there is common service centers. This can be mentioned. All these should be mentioned. Similarly, there is another question is e-governance. One minute. There is another question is e-governance is not only about utilization of power of new technology, but also about the critical importance of use value of the information. This was one of the most controversial questions of 2018. Most of the people said that this cannot be answered with it. But actually, it is a very simple question. The question asks for e-governance is not only about using technology, but the actual use value or actual benefits need to be focused upon. That is, it is not about using internet, or it is not about using Facebook. Rather, it is getting services from government itself. Okay, that is the idea of these questions. Just understand what is it and how it can be used. You need not focus on all the aspects of e-governance and governance, etc. You just need examples and basic concepts to answer the question. Okay, just focus on examples and basic concepts. Okay, am I clear? Is there any issue in session? Please let me know. I'll be clearing your doubts. Okay, the next is here also same ideas. Live Mint Indian Express for governance. I will be suggesting Live Mint and Indian Express. Then schemes, policies regarding government. This is enough for your e-governance and m-governance. And if I suggest something else, you should also read Wikipedia articles regarding what is e-governance, what is m-governance, what is e-government, what is m-governance. These definitions, if you are not familiar with these definitions, you can also go for a basic search. That is enough. That is enough for your governance. Okay. And always the question will be focusing on effectiveness of e-governance, m-governance, digital governance, etc. And they will be asking examples. You definitely need examples to illustrate your answer. The question will be directly asking for examples. There will be questions asking for examples, and also for every question and every questions in governance, you need to give examples. Examples is most important one in governance. In GS2 paper, If you are taking into Indian polity, you will be adding articles, cases, laws, etc. In governance, you will be adding schemes, policies, case studies. You need not focus on all the detail of a case study. For example, you just mentioned Kudumbasri, you just mentioned Akshay Vatra, you just mentioned Mazdoor Kisan Shakti Sangada. Just mentioning is enough, but you will be focusing on these three things: schemes, policies, and case studies or changes. Okay, focus on that, and also you need to have schemes and policies of government regarding governance. Okay, that should be, that is the idea of digital governance. And next one is accountability and transparency, or accountability and control. Okay, here you need to have idea of basic actions taken by, basic programs and rules and regulations taken by government. There is citizen charter, there is RTI, there is ombudsman's, there is Lokpal and Lokayukta. All these should be known. You should be knowing all the provisions regarding these things. Citizen charter, I think it was there in UPSC mains for 2 years in the last 5 years. Citizen charter alone was in news. Okay, that is, the provisions need to be focused upon. What are the provisions of citizen charter? For example, citizen charter suggested that vision, mission, and motto should be there. What are the services provided by that government office, or what is the remedy available for any issue? All these will be mentioned in your citizen charter. Understand that. For example, as a historical fact, it was initiated in CM's conference on 1997. Learn this. Just understand the basics and ensure the effectiveness of these things. For example, citizen charter is still not effective because people are unaware about the benefits of having citizen charter, or people are unaware, or people are not interested in reading citizen charter or getting benefits. That is one of the issue. And even the bureaucracy is not ready to transfer the benefits of citizen charter to people because they are not getting any training. That is an issue. Similarly, RTI. If you have read second ARC, you may have came across several suggestions by second ARC on RTI. Read that. I'll be giving certain compilations on RTI. Read that, get idea. Whenever you suggest certain ideas, quote second ARC, first ARC, other commissions, etc. For example, in Indian polity, whenever you write suggestions in federalism, you quote Sarkari Commission, Punji Commission, etc. In economics or ecology, whenever you write the issue of groundwater, you mention Meherson Committee. There is Kotak Committee in corporate governance. All these committees should be known. Okay. It will be better to conclude with certain committees suggestion. Chandakumar Committee is there. Defense, there is multiple committees in defense and economics. Mention all these. Okay. Then you need to, first one is, there can be a direct questions on citizen charter. So read the provisions, RTI, citizen charter, Lokpal, Lokayukta, etc. And almost every question asks for analysis. What are the importance? What are the benefits? What are the issues? What are the challenges? All these will be asked in your question. So just learn these things. You need not focus on any other aspects. Okay, these are the questions asked in accountability and control. There is 2 or 3 questions, another 2 or 3 questions. Now just focus 2 questions. That is 2 different questions. That is, citizen charter is an ideal instrument of organizational transparency and accountability, but it has its own limitation. Identify the limitation and suggest measures to create greater effectiveness. That is, you just, for addressing the statement, you just mentioned the provisions or suggestions or the policy initiatives of Citizen Charter and identify the limitations and suggest measures. Almost everyone will be writing the same notes or same subheadings in your note. You just need to reproduce it. There is nothing wrong or nothing hard in it. Okay, and the similar question is there. Citizen Charter have been formulated by many public service delivery organizations. There is no corresponding improvement in the levels of citizen satisfaction. The same question, what are the limitations? What are the limitations? Only the terms or only the words used in that question is changing. The idea is saying what are the limitations of Citizen Charter. The same question is repeating. For example, I forgot to add that in Indian polity. In 2013, there was a question on Indian polity. Individual parliamentarians. If you have searched previous year questions in 2013, there is a question on individual parliamentarians. What is the issue of efficiency in individual parliamentarians and what is the role of anti-defection law? The same question without any difference, only the words have changed. Came in 2013. Why Indian parliamentarians' efficiency is decreasing day by day? So just understand these are the same questions. You just need to focus on answer writing. Okay, write the answer. The same question is there in UPSC. Do not worry. Take your time, read the question, get the idea, write the answer. There is nothing else on this, especially in governance. We have a standard format for governance. Just follow that. Okay, the questions may be hard to understand, but once you understand, you have already completed the 50% of your work. Now you just need to write the answer. Okay. Next one is materials to be followed or focused. Here also, here the idea is you need to have certain data. What is the performance of RTA? What is the issues of RTA? For RTA data, you can read ADR, Association of Democratic Reforms suggestions, or their reports can be followed. And if there is a best case study or good examples, you can also follow that along with this. And you need to have policy documents. Definitely policy documents need to be read. Okay, for every aspects of Indian polity in governance, you will be focusing same material. Okay, the basic material will be given. Do not worry about that. But for all other analysis and comparisons and data and figures, you just focus on these two sources. Okay. Next, here always the question asks for evaluation, efficiency, limitations, challenges, how it can be improved, suggestions will be asked. So the question you need to have an evaluation on every topic. Then examples. Examples will be focused. You should be having examples, and if there is an act regarding RTA is there, then policies is there, different policies is there. All these should be understood. All these should be quoted in your answer. This is accountability and transparency. And next one is corporate governance. This is at least important, but there is a chance. In current scenario, there is a chance. There is, I think, two times, I think, in last 6 or 7 years. From 2013, there is, I think, two times it has been asked. Once in the case of FDI, foreign direct investment, and once in the case of Satyam scandal. Okay, so just understand corporate governance. The question will be the duty of corporate sector. For example, CSR, social responsibility is there, and environmental protection is there. Then their corporate governance is there. According, for example, the issues related to Sahara issues, all these camps can be quoted in your answer. There is least chance for this corporate governance, but you can also just go through corporate governance, and here you need to have Companies Act of 2013. You need to have an idea of Companies Act of 2013. It may be asked. You need to quote provisions from Companies Act. You need to understand the provisions of CSR. You need to understand the provisions of documentation. All these should be known to you. Okay. Next one is the questions. First one is Satyam scandal of 2009 was asked in 2015. So, what are the changes brought in? For example, in the case of banking sector, corporate governance in banking sector, we have initiated banks board bureau is there, committees is there. All these should be noted. Okay, in answering this, so you just need to understand the changes in provisions, acts, etc., and also just the basics of corporate governance. For example, CSR is a most probable topic in corporate governance. You will go through that, and TRP, the previous one, somebody has discussed about that. TRP and issues, media house and ensuring transparency and accountability, media's role in ensuring transparency and accountability, that can be asked. Okay, so do learn that also. And the another question is 100% FTA is already allowed in non-news media like trade publication and general entertainment channel. The government is mulling over the proposal for increased FDI news media for quite some time. What difference would an increase in FDI makes? Critically analyze. Okay, similar aspects can be asked. What is the role of media in governance, or how it can be protected, or how it can be ensured, how media can ensure accountability? This can be asked. Okay, the primary idea will be similar to this. Here, your focus should be on current affairs. If there is a change in corporate governance, you should also focus on that. Along with that, you should read the recommendations of Uday Kotak Committee. Okay, read the recommendations of Uday Kotak Committee also. This is enough for your corporate governance. This is the least preferred topic in Indian governance. Okay, these are the important topics that should be followed while learning governance. Here also newspaper examples, and the answer should be holistic. Okay, let's focus on that. Now we'll be moving to the other next part, that is approach to governance. How you can learn what approach you should be taking. The first one is government documents or policy document should be correct. Policy document should be focused upon especially India 75. You should be reading India 75 regarding Indian polity and governance. For economics also it is wonderful. If possible, read that also. That is this is a 200-page document. If possible, go through that. I think the document itself was written by somebody who have given mains examination. If you have read, you would have known. That is, the first one is there will be an introduction on certain points. Then there will be certain facts and figures. Then there will be a discussion on what are the benefits, what are the issues and challenges. Then there will be a conclusion. A 2-page, actually it is a 2-page note on every topic. Okay, you can identify around 30, 40, 50 topics from India 75. So just read that. I'll be giving the important topics from Indian polity and governance sector. Just go through it. Okay. The second one is current affairs. Current affairs is important for governance as well. Try to get the changes in provisions, changes in governance machineries, etc. Get examples also. And third one is definitely examples. Examples is the most important thing in governance. You definitely need examples while writing your answers. Without examples in governance, you cannot answer the question, or you will not be getting enough marks. You need to add examples. Okay. Next one is answer writing. In governance, you need to focus on answer writing. Answer writing is important. Try to take questions from various sources and write answers. And just evaluate yourself with the answer key available. That is the basic idea. Okay, that is your approach to governance. And the probable topics will be, this is 15th year of RPI, so there is a chance that RPI may be asked, and there is a lot of changes in RPI. So RPI should be learned, and you should also understand the changes. What is the issue of converting CIC to a department under government? Learn that. Then accountability. Accountability is another important topic where COVID-19 and related accountability issues. For example, there is a new Arogya Setu to track down COVID patients. Is it equivalent to mass surveillance? Connected with accountability of government and privacy of people. That can be a question. And the next one is participation of people in governance. That is always, this is in news, participation of people. You need to add role of NGOs, SHGs, etc. And we'll be taking sessions on all these. I will be defining. I'm not defining all these right now. While you prepare, you focus on these things. I'll be adding more topics in later stage. And the last one is role of NGOs and the issues of NGOs. Regarding FCRA and all, you should be focusing. Okay. These are the major topics you should be following. The key idea, the basic idea in governance while preparing for governance is that you need to get examples, you need to get ideas, you need to identify the basics of governance. Okay, the basics of civil services and other important topics will be given. Do not worry about that. We will be sharing it in the Mainsure group. Okay, but the idea is, do not worry about governance. Governance is very easy to get scored. You just need to understand the basics, and along with that, try to write answers. Answer writing is very important. Try to complete your answers regularly, try to practice regularly, and if possible, you need to have a session by yourself. Take 2 or 3 questions daily and try to write it. We will be on a regular basis. We will be having previous year discussions and previous year answer writing. Tomorrow we will be having a session. In that session, you need to attend it live, and along with that, you should also focus on writing by yourself. Okay. Any doubts? Do you have any doubts? If you have any doubts, please let me know. I'll be sharing the video. If anyone have missed or any part is missed, we will be sharing. I will also be sharing the PPT. Okay. Then thank you. Take care. We'll see you tomorrow. Thank you all. No, my option is public administration.